If you said, "Oh, there's code hidden in plain view," I said, "You're crazy. You need to be locked up." I would have. That's why I'm not mad at people who don't believe it, because I was just like them. Oh yeah, it's right here. Look, it's really easy. It's so easy. Somebody has to show it to you. So look at this fence. As we move, see the links, the cross links. So there's the cross, because it crosses at an angle this way. There's a chain link going this way and a chain link. So the cross is right there. You make a cross, right? X, Y, Z. X is you make a cross. Cross it out. Actually, the word check goes back to the cross as well. But so you can have a cross like this, like railroad crossing, or you can have a cross with a T. So you see the telephone pole? It's got a T. Jesus nailed to the cross like a T. And then there's the railroad crossing. Crossing. And if you look at these poles on this fence, they repeat a pattern. If you look at the blades of grass, it repeats a pattern. If you look at the siding on that building, it repeats a pattern. If you look at the leaves, it's a pattern that repeats. So not only do you see the cross, but see patterns right here in front of you. I'm not even talking about man-made stuff, but in order for man to build something, he has to follow a pattern. But the blades of grass, the trees, everything follows a pattern. But man-made stuff will follow a pattern too, because it's a subset of creation. And so those spiral things are following a pattern to keep people out. And so who's the pattern of all things? Jesus. He's the pattern of all things. Even the road has speckles on it. So the speckle goes back to goes back to blood. But no matter where I look, there's a pattern. Even on that concrete, even on the wall. There's a pattern everywhere. Pattern. Patterns are everywhere. Man-made patterns and God-made patterns. The reason man has to make something with a pattern is because God started it first. He has a pattern. And what is the pattern? Jesus is the pattern. Look at these trash cans going down through. They're all sitting out on the curb like a pattern. The bricks on that house, a pattern. So what is pattern? It goes back to paternal. It goes back to pa. Why does pattern go back to paternal? Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. The patriarchy. The pattern is, so the patriarchy, the pattern, the man sets the pattern. He sets the tone and the pattern. Right? It is right, whether you know it or not. The man sets the tone. He sets the pattern. Look at that. That was probably a nice house, and it completely collapsed on the inside. Look at that. Wow. I say, it's a single-story house. It completely collapsed in the middle. Wow. That's crazy. It could happen to anybody, though. A pattern emerges. Even if you try to build something without a pattern will emerge. Even out of disorder, a pattern will emerge. It's just the way it is. Everything's a pattern. If you throw some paint on the wall, you just throw some paint here, and throw some paint here, and throw some paint here, all of a sudden you start to see a pattern. Pattern goes back to the patriarchy, patron saint, the Pa. Because Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Noah, Joseph, Daniel, they set a pattern. Apostle Paul, John the Baptist, everybody in the Bible that's strong in faith, Samson, David, they all set patterns. Now they messed up. Moses couldn't enter the promised land because he smote the rock twice. He didn't follow the pattern. So let's think about this for a second. So everywhere I'm looking, there's a pattern. These mailboxes follow a pattern. A city follows a pattern. I can go to any city in the United States and get around like I know this city, if it's designed according to the standard pattern. You know, most cities are. There's some cities that are just weird, but most of them are designed according to similar patterns. You got it's like a checkerboard, you know. So let's think about this for a second. The patterns. Why is there a pattern? The reason there's a pattern is for the cloth, the clergy. So when a woman goes to the fabric store and she gets a pattern, or she sews a pattern, she's sewing it on the cloth, right? Cloth goes back to clergy. So the clergy, the clerics, the saints, they set the pattern. The unsaved, the vagabonds, they don't want to follow the pattern. You're setting a pattern. They don't want to follow your pattern because they're rebellious against God. God set a pattern, and there's a pattern to follow. But your old flesh mind don't want to follow the pattern, the pa. Why do you think he told Moses to build, was it Moses? Yeah. Why do you think he told him to build according to the pattern? Or Noah? Noah, both of them, really, both of them. Noah had to build the ark according to a pattern. Why would he do that? Why would God have types and shadows and antitypes? Why is that even a thing? If you go to talk to any top theologian, he'll talk about types and shadows. They don't usually know what it means. Not really. Some of them do, but they don't really understand it code-wise. But why does the Bible talk about types and antitypes and shadows? Because there's a pattern to follow. There's a pattern to follow in your dress, in your communication, in your haircut, in your shoes, in the way you think, your emotions. Everything has a pattern. And as you renew your mind, with the Holy Spirit help, you move into the proper pattern, the proper flow, the proper sequence. There's nothing new. There's no new thought. There's no new anything. So you follow in sequence after Christ. But you have to get your mind right to follow the pattern and be happy in it. Because anybody can follow the pattern if they do it by the letter of the law, but you're not happy. The secret is to renew your mind to where you can follow the pattern and enjoy it. Because you know it's good for you, and it's the right thing. Anybody can act stupid. Anybody can fight and get angry and curse somebody out, call them every name of the book. But a person who follows the pattern can take up their cross, and they don't respond. They observe, but they don't absorb. A narcissist is just trying to make you into a copy. Like that guy sawing over there. There's nothing new about him sawing that piece of wood. The only thing is using the circular saw machine. They used to use hand saw or a knife. It's just cutting. It's just a cut. He's got him a little tin up, don't he? Anyway. Those dashes are patterns. If everything has a pattern, then somebody created this place. And if it was created before you were born, then it was created before Adam and Eve. And so it was prepared for you, it was pre-cut. And if it's pre-cut or prepared, the word prepare means to pre-cut. It was pre-cut before the foundation of the world. It's pre-cut today, tomorrow, yesterday, forever. So that means a lot of different things. One thing is it supports a lot of verses. There's one verse. If everything was pre-cut, he won't have his saints begging bread, it said. It was pre-cut. He's already prepared the blessing. He's already prepared you. That pre-cut, prepare, there's probably 1,000 verses that support that supports. It's an underpinning. You know, a lot of people say, why did God say that? Well, there's an underpinning. The Bible's multidimensional. You can read the surface level, go a little bit deeper, a little bit deeper, a little bit deeper, just like when I can look at that bush, and then I can look at the color green, and then on top of it, over there is a color red and green, Cain and Abel. Right there's a red and green. I'm looking at the Bible right here. It's pre-cut. It was pre-written. The Holy Writ is holographically written everywhere at all times. And you're actually in the same story every moment of every day. Every moment is the same story, a projection. As I look out right here, I could zoom in and see the same story as I zoom in or zoom out. It's a fractal. It's a fractal hologram based on His Word that's forever settled in heaven. You're in it. You're living it right now.